Welcome to another episode of Wholesome Thinking. The main objective of our conversations is to challenge people's minds and stimulate wholesome thinking by utilizing the gifts that God gave us. This platform is inspired by scriptures, spiritual journeys, perspective, and life. It's important to us that we highlight these conversations to help encourage others on their journey and provide perspective. In 2 Peter chapter 3 it says, "Dear friends, this is now my second letter to you. I have written both of them as reminders to stimulate you to wholesome thinking." If you ever want to join us on the Wholesome Thinking podcast, please contact us on Instagram, TikTok, or our YouTube channel. Our handle is Wholesome Thinking Pod on all platforms. We encourage everyone to reach out to us not only to join us, but to provide us feedback or tell us about other topics you would like to hear us talk about on this platform. Our main rules on this platform are commitment, creativity, no cursing, prayer, and no judgment. Appreciate everyone for tuning in to listen. Hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Welcome to Wholesome Thinking. We appreciate everybody for tuning in today. This is part 2 of our conversation of episode 18, talking about prayer. On the last episode of part 1, we spoke about prayer working, the significance of it, and just allowing God to come into your life and just expose different things in your life to help you, not only bless you, but just build a relationship with Him as well. But now we want to get into the second part of the conversation that we think is crucial for everyone to not just understand, but just build perspective off of it, even if we disagree about different things. But Shad, if you could kind of get us started on not only prayer working, but the work that we have to do
Yeah,
outside of praying.
yeah, absolutely. And I know I brought this up when we had this conversation because my concern is I didn't want our listeners leaving thinking that if all they do is pray, then everything's going to be answered and everything's going to work, right? And if we go to Spencer's situation, uh, when someone's praying for like work or a job or stuff like that, they don't just pray and then just hope a job magically appeared. No, they apply to a lot of different positions until they get the position, right? And that's the work that has to go in. And I know I talked about the house and we prayed for the house, but and I mentioned 70 different people were listed on the contact for that. But if it wasn't for Kayla putting in the work for what we had to do for that, because by the time we got approved for the house, you really still couldn't apply for it yet. Like if you went on Zillow, it said request to apply, request to visit. Like the tenant was still in there. Kayla said, no, I'm going directly to their site and I'm applying. And was probably the only person that did that. And we got approved and we got the house. And that's a blessing. It's a blessing that we had what we needed at the time when she did that. But faith without works is dead. And so, with the prayer part, I think it's very important that we also understand that there has to be work done with it, right? We're God's handiwork and we got to make sure that we're doing the work that comes with praying as well, because a prayer doesn't just happen and then you wake up. Like I said, you don't wake up tomorrow and then the prayer is answered. No, you have to pray and then go out and do what needs to be done to make sure that prayer comes true. So I wanted to see what y'all thought about it, right? Because I know it's kind of a little bit different of a twist than part 1 of episode 18, where we focused on how to properly pray and understanding that, God will answer the prayers. And I know I'm kind of contradicting a little bit by saying, well, hey, the prayers don't get answered unless we work. But I want to see what y'all think of that as well. I feel like prayers have to have work behind it. You got to have faith around it. I know I always talk about needs times faith equals motivation. But what do y'all think about adding the work in with prayers?
Nah, I like how the episode is even chopped up for part 1 and part 2, because I think the first thing we gotta do is pray. But the second thing you gotta do is follow through on what you're praying about and what you're praying for. And I think that you can easily contradict what you prayed for by going out. I prayed, then I'm gonna go out there and sin and do whatever I want to do. Cause I'm still him. Like, yeah, you bless me, but you're gonna keep on blessing me over and over again. You feel me? Some people got that attitude, man. I know I did. You know what I'm saying? And not realizing like the amount of work that I have to put in outside of just praying. Like I gotta read the scripture, I gotta read my devotionals. And it may be different for everybody. It might be going to church or Bible study and different things like that. But I'm also saying that what you do and what you follow through, what that looks like, matters to God. And I think that's when He ends up blessing you. It's your prayer and requesting it, but then He want to see how you act and what you're going to do and how you treat His relationship. Are you going to disrespect the relationship? Just as if it was if your wife, if your husband, and vice versa. Like, how are you going to show respect for that relationship and that dynamic? You know what how you're seen in the community is how God sees you every day. He see you at home. He see you in the deepest, darkest places that you can even think of, and even in the light places as well. But I think we got to take into consideration that, okay, am I living the righteous standards and the principles of God, that's in the Bible every single day when I'm requesting these things? And maybe if I'm in a stuck place of paralysis or anything like that, maybe I'm not doing all the right things. But I think on the other side, it's some people that will say, man, nah, I'm a righteous person. I'm pure. I'm doing all the things that I believe are biblical principles, and God is not doing anything for me. And I think for people that are going through that side of it, I think we got to kind of figure out, okay, well, what are you praying for? Like, what are you really asking for, and what do you need? And that's why I said part two is important, because you got to have some type of follow through and some type of standard that you're living by every single day in order for God to reciprocate something that you need and want. But also, are you living for Him? Or are you living for the need and the want? Because you could be a double mind. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I like the book of James, where it's breaking those different concepts down. And I don't know it word for word, but pretty much I think it says salt water and fresh water can't run from the same stream or something like that. Something similar. I'm not sure. JG backed me up. I know for sure. But pretty
I'm already looking.
all right, word. But it's just like we can't have the double mind to say that we're just going to pray and not do the work, but we also can't just do the work and not pray specifically either. And so I think it's a great conversation, and that's what I say. I don't disagree. I think Spence got some examples that are kind of highlight like it's different levels to the work too. Like you might not have to do so much; you might have to do just little, and that little may be just praying. But Spence can kind of dive into that, shot. But no, I just appreciate you bringing up this other side of the perspective of prayer and acting on the things and putting in the work.
For sure, for sure. I think something you said so slightly is like, are you being obedient after you go and do the work, right? Because you can pray for something and do something completely opposite on unfertile soil, and nothing produces from it. But another thing you mentioned as well that really stuck out, and I think we talked about it a little bit on part one, was that you have to have patience with your prayers. Sometimes people have prayers and feel like God hasn't done anything for me or answered any of my prayers. Well, God's timing is always perfect. And if you're being obedient and you're doing what you have to do and you're actually doing the works behind it, God will answer those prayers. It may not be when you think it should be, but you're not God. And so you got to have patience when it comes to that. So, no, I'm excited to hear some of the stuff Spence got to say too. And I know JG's over there looking for reference. Why are you looking for that, Spence? Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you that you have to put in the work while also praying. Like for example, for me, I used to pray I wanted to go to the NFL. Wasn't doing nothing to prep myself to go to the NFL. Wasn't doing nothing. I would play football. Season end, I'm on to something else. I'm on the basketball. I'm on the track. I'm not at camps. I'm not at home doing drills. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just, God, I want to go to the NFL. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Or even in class, I would not study for a test. God, help me pass this test. I need to pass this test. Don't know none of the answers. I'm just God gonna make it happen. But I didn't do any work to put myself in the position to be successful while also praying. So I think putting in the work while also praying, I would agree with Shot that it is important. You have to you can't just pray and then just sit back and not do anything. Like it doesn't work like that. And Rail mentioned that I had some examples that may not necessarily contradict it, but kind of challenge it. But I'll get into that after JG goes because I see he found the verse.
And what the black culture say
Hey,
too all the time. God know my heart. He know my
I got,
heart.
hey, I know my heart. God gonna make a way. God gonna make no. God ain't gonna make a way if you ain't opening no doors for the way to come through. Come on, man. That's what I always be.
Man,
Hey, did you do that? Nah, but God gonna make a way. What you mean God gonna
man,
make a way if you ain't doing nothing? If you ain't doing the basics that He asked you to do for the prayer, what way is He?
And so that's kind of when you asked the question, I paused because I was like, yo, this is a cultural thing too. And it's a I don't know. It's the word. What's you and JG say this all the time when we trying to think about a topic. Culture. Maybe it's just culture. Y'all just say culture. Topic about culture or something like that. Y'all know what I'm talking about, bro. Y'all looking at me crazy.
What is it?
that's what
Environment?
I did. I agreed.
It's culture, right?
We,
Y'all was like we talk about like I'm just talking
we
about. I
say
think it's part of the culture that you think you can pray and not work is what I'm saying. You don't have to do that because just like we only talk about the miracles. We don't talk about the hard stuff that we go through daily and taking up our cross. Like taking up your cross mean like you're gonna have to die every single day. You get what I'm saying? And I think when it comes to our culture, I think that's where the double mind comes from, where people do think that. And I thought that at one time too, kind of like Spence, like, yeah, get me in the MLB, bro. You know what I'm saying? I ain't going to the cage. That's what I was kind of saying. That's all.
But what? Hey, it's take up your cross and what? And walk, right? You gotta put the work in. Like you gotta put the work. People don't do it. Pick up the cross and walk, man. It ain't just
You
pick up the
can't
cross.
you can't just pick up the cross and put it down.
No, come on, man. I'm telling you, man.
Or stand
But
still.
I do think some people with that example shot is like we'll pick up our cross and it'll say walk, but it's like, well, how far? How far do I have to walk with this, man? And how far do I have to really take up this cross daily and die to my flesh? And I think that's why we as humans, from my perspective, we don't think that we have to pray and put in the work. We just think that we deserve these things and we're owed these things because of the traditions of this earthly realm that we're in. And that's really not how things work, unfortunately. But I think we can get caught up within the culture and feel like we're owed certain things and different nuances based on our race and different things like that as well. Because the black culture, bro, we owed a lot. And that's a whole different conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting into that. I'm just saying how it could be digested in a different way as far as, man, bro, come on, God, man. Like I done been through all this stuff, bro. Like you can't just do this one thing, but now that one thing that turned to 1,000, and you still ain't even praising him, and you just not even doing nothing. And I think that used to be me for a long time, where it's like, bro, two-parent household, parents okay, got good jobs, I ain't care. Go to college, I ain't care. Get my master's, I ain't care. Broke my foot, I ain't care. Break it again, I don't care. Go to the Final Four, I don't care. All these I don't cares, bro. And it's like, hold on, man. Like, and when you start thinking about it, I ain't had to do work for that stuff. But I think with age, we think that we're owed certain things by the time we get to a certain age. That's why I said when we pick up that cross, how far do I have to walk? Okay, if it's about 25, I do it. If you tell me I'm gonna get it in 3 years, I'll go do it. And that's why I think like the culture thing is a huge key to the double mind. That's all I was trying to make the connection to, bro.
I'm gonna save myself from that. Go ahead, JG, because I know I can
Yeah,
get
go
people
talk
mad at
to
me,
us, JG.
man. Talk to us, JG.
Well, look here. So look, if you all right, so let's say you training for like I'll switch it to basketball. I want to go to the NBA. So one day I might hear, man, Kobe shoot 500 shots a day, right? It's like, all right, Kobe in the league. I shoot 500 shots a day. I'm going to the league. What them 500 shots look like though? What they look like? Is it just like, are you just catching and shooting standstill jumpers? Like, and then did you even count the 500 or you lost count and you just say 500? Right? It felt like 500. I was in there for a minute, man. Like, it felt like 500. Like, Kobe was shooting 500 shots, game speed, game intensity at 5 o'clock in the morning every day.
Makes.
Aches, okay? You shooting 500 casual jumpers at your own leisure in flip flops ain't gonna get you to the league, brother. We not doing that.
And the Crocs.
In the Crocs. I don't care if they in sport mode, boy. Lace up your sneakers. What's going on? What's going on? Kobe is getting to his spots and making 500 jumpers, game intensity, game speed. You just pulling up to your local rec center, you know what I'm saying, or pulling up to the Y. You know what I'm saying? When your boys say, hey, man, I'm going to be there about 1. All right, bet. I might not get there till about 1:30. Man, I was up late. I was on the game. I was on the game last night, bruh. I ain't going to get there till about 1:30, 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to get them in, though. No, you not. No, you not. Like, it's not the same. So, like, let's call a spade a spade. Let's stop lying to ourselves, man. Like, for real, for real. But I did find the scripture. So, 1 James chapter 1 verse 6. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, For a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world, and they are unstable in everything they do. Okay, fast forward to what Shai was talking about. Faith without good deeds is dead. What good is it, dear brothers and sisters? This is chapter 2, verse 14 in James. What good is it, dear brothers and sisters, if you say you have faith, but don't show it by your actions? Can that kind of faith save anyone? And then you skip down to verse 17. So you see, faith by itself isn't enough. Unless it produces good deeds, it is dead and useless. Now some may argue, some people have faith, others have good deeds. But I say, how can you show me your faith if you don't have good deeds? I will show you my faith by my good deeds. Okay, so like, this is the thing. Like, if he says in verse 14, if you say you have faith but don't show it by your actions, can that kind of faith save anyone? So if you say I'm going to the league, but you don't got league actions and habits, are you going to go to the league? What league are we talking about? Fantasy football league, maybe. But the NBA? What league we talking about, man? The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen? Like, what are we doing? So this is if you don't have any actions to back up the faith that you say you have, what kind of faith is that if you're not acting upon it? Right? So this is where we at with it. Like, if you say you believe something, your actions should reflect that. If your actions don't reflect that, you don't believe it. You don't believe it. So in the same way that you're praying for something and asking God for something, but don't think that there's any work now it might not be as much work as you thought initially, but if you don't think there's any work involved on your part, then you're fooling yourself. You're fooling yourself. You're mistaken, because at the very least, God is going to ask you or put you in a position where you have to do something to prove that you believe he's going to do what you asked him to do. So at the very least, you will find yourself in a position where whatever you ask God for, you have to show that you believe he's going to do it. Right? And that might not be work at all in the traditional sense. That might just be like, I'm just going to keep seeking you out and wait for your instruction and obedience. I'm not going to try to figure this out by myself, because I'm asking you and I'm going to wait on you. I'm going to wait on you to tell me what to do. And when you tell me to do it, I'm going to go. When you say go, I'm going to go. That might be the work. And if you don't think that that's work, try it.
Hey, JG, my boy. Hey, we're going to stay here for a little bit, because when you said that, it made me think about this Kobe example. Made me think about when I first got I started my business when I was doing my Amway business. And I heard on the audio of one of like the leaders going out and doing 100 handshakes in a day, just meeting people. I said, bet, I'm going to go do that. And so I went out one Saturday, just tried to do 100 handshakes, came to my meeting. That was Saturday, so I had the whole week. Came to my meeting on Thursday. I said, hey, coach, I went out and did 100 handshakes, just like the Diamonds did. Who told you to do that? I was like, I heard that on audio. I said, that's how you be successful. He said, do you know why they did that? Like, nah. He said, so you're trying to replicate something that you don't even know what you're trying to do. And sometimes when we're doing work, we're trying to replicate stuff that we see that we have no guidance on. Right? We trying to do the 500 shots like JG said, to be like, we heard Kobe say 500 shots or do 500 shots, but we have no idea why Kobe was doing 500. Well, maybe you should be doing 200. Maybe you should be doing 1,000. You're not in shape like Kobe is. You don't know the purpose of those shots, what he's trying to do. And so what counts, or what people do you have in your life to show you, like, if you're going to do the works, what is the right works for you? Because sometimes your prayers don't get answered when you're praying and doing works, because you're, like JG said, you're doing the wrong works. And in that situation, there was nothing that came out of that seed from that work that I did, because it was completely the wrong work that I had to do. And it wasn't until I went to someone who gave me guidance and gave me understanding to say, hey, that's actually not what you should have been doing. This is what you would have been doing, and this would have gave you the results, the harvest that you were looking for. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm too busy worrying about what somebody else is doing and thinking that their works is going to result in the same harvest that I'm going to have. But I got to realize, what was the soil that they even sowed into? Like, what was the soil that was sowing in for that to even happen? Like, did I even have the right foundation? Did I even have the right thought process? Did I even have the right prayers? And I was like, man, oh man. So, Rel, what's up, Rel? I see your hand up, man. What's up, man?
Hey man, look, let's go further. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Man, y'all talking.
I'm gonna put my perspective on it. And it don't work because that might not be your gift. It might be something else. And if you keep trying to replicate it, other people are not going to get blessed because you're stuck. Why this not working? I'm getting up 500 shots. This ain't working. So, Shot, I 100% agree with you. But I think people also need to hear, like, that's not what you was created to do anyway. So you need to create your own regimen that aligns with you. And then you start seeing the results. And then keep continuously, consistently in doing it. And stay obedient to the process. And then fall in love with it, because now you're starting to understand how good it feels to just be in the process. You don't even care about the results no more. You fall in love with being in awe of what's going on by just following the simple fundamental steps. And I think that's where people end up missing some pieces of God as it relates to what he wants them to, what he's calling them to do. They may start having a relationship with them, but they may not be serving in different capacities that can serve them as well, but can also bless communities.
That's facts. I mean, he's speaking there. Especially, you better go off mute.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, man, you said something when trying to replicate what somebody else did. It's like you're trying to take shortcuts instead of letting God order your steps. You're trying to take shortcuts. Oh, it's working for them, so I'm going to go try this because it's working for them. It's going to work for me automatically. When it doesn't work like that. You have your own process, like Real said. You have your own gift that God has given you. You trying to take shortcuts and copy what somebody else did, it's not going to get you the same results. Because that may be their gift and may not be your gift. So you have to talk to God about that. You have to pray about that and see what kind of works you need to put in to unlock your gift.
Because then it's going to be something that you could do that's hard as heck for the other person to do now. Because they can't do it like you. And God, only God really knows that. But I think he wants us to tap into it in a whole different way. And I got into it a little bit on the last episode. But I just think he wants us to be able to experience his power in a different way, bro. And I really can't explain it without sounding like I have God's power and I want to distribute these superpowers on earth and do all these miracles. Like, nah, that's not what I'm saying, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like he wants to experience his love and his peace on earth, because we deal with a demonic spiritual warfare every single day that we got to deal with. So that's all I want to say, Sean. My fault for cutting you off.
No, you good. Spence, you talking there, right? Because you can't shortcut the shortcut, right? The shortcut's God's blessing. Because those that don't want to receive it, they have what I tell y'all, if y'all don't have faith, when you can accomplish stuff, but it's a lot harder and it's a lot longer without faith. So the shortcut's God's blessing. And so you're trying to shortcut the shortcut by trying to do what other people are doing. And you just making the process worse on yourself. So I was like, boy, when Spence said that, I was like, you trying to shortcut it. You already got the shortcut. Just be obedient to what you got to do to make sure you can accomplish it. So before I know with the faith and works part, I know I came in heavy with the like, nah, you got to have the works. So Spence, I know you got some stuff, but before we get to that, JG, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Yes, man. What was the last thing you said, Shot? Go back to the last thing you said real quick.
Shortcut the shortcut?
Yeah, so you said the shortcut is God's blessing, right? And all you have to do is be obedient and keep. People don't want to do that. All people want to do is pray and receive. They don't want the obedience part. What you mean by the obedience part? Like, they're not rocking with that. And see, that's the thing, because when you ask God for something, he hears you. Okay, hold on. Let me Psalms chapter 34, verse 17. The Lord hears his people when they call to him for help. He rescues them from all their troubles. Okay. what you think your trouble is? Like what you like when you hear he rescues them from all their troubles, what you think your trouble is? And I guarantee people first thought isn't my trouble is me. And that's the problem. And that's the problem. Okay? Because you want to pray and receive, but obedience requires you to lay down something that you got that's in the way of receiving God's blessing that he has for you. And you don't want to lay that down. You don't want to lay that down. Okay? James.
Requires you to be Isaiah, huh? Go ahead. Go ahead.
What you mean? What you say?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna get into it after you done. Go ahead.
Well, but like when you're asking for something and don't think that you need to change or you don't need to adjust anything that you're doing in order to receive something, if that was the case, you wouldn't have to ask for nothing. If you were in place to receive everything that God has for you, it would require no change. It would require no change on your part. You would just be able to get what you want. You would just be able to get what you want. So when you hear rescue them from their trouble, like I can attest to that now, see, because my eyes have been opened. Praise God that he opened my eyes and he removed that veil. And now I can understand that a lot of my troubles came from me. And okay, Holy Spirit, okay. A lot of my troubles before now and up to this point has come from me. If I can't be obedient and accept the fact that I need to get out of my own way first, how am I going to deal with trouble from others? How am I going to deal with external trouble if I'm still tripping over my own feet? If I'm still getting in my own way? If I still have sin in my heart that hasn't been addressed? I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for something from somebody else, from adversity for somebody else. Like I haven't done the work with God on my heart. I haven't been obedient to him in order to move to the next step in our relationship. So that when I do encounter trouble from others or external trouble or those type of attacks, like I'm not going to know what to do. I'm not going to be able to handle that. And I'm thankful for grace because he's never going to put you in a situation where you have to experience that. If you're truly seeking him, he is going to prepare you for what's ahead. He's never going to put you in a situation. He's never going to put you in a situation that's going to overwhelm you to that point. Like he's just not. He's too good. He's too good to us. Like he loves us too much. But when you find yourself in that situation, I pray that all of us in here as a part of the Wholesome Thinking Pod and everyone listening turns to God and asks him for direction and trusts in him for the answer. And then is willing to do the work that he asks us to do on ourselves or whatever the case may be. Because here's another one. James chapter 4, verse 3, you ask and do not receive because you ask wrongly to spend it on your passions. What's your motives? Why are you asking God for the thing you're asking for? What you going to do with it? Are you going to give it back to him? Are you going to sow into the kingdom and allow him to multiply it so you can present it back to him? Or are you going to spend it on yourself? Or as the parable goes, bury it in the ground, right? And do nothing with it. You're just going to spend you're going to ask for a blessing to spend it on yourself. You're not going to bless others. You're not going to look out for others and try to put others in position to do the same thing, to reap those same benefits, to build their own relationship with God in that way. Like, so again, what are your motives? You ask for something, but what is it because you saw somebody else with it? So you're asking out of jealousy? So all of these things factor into it. So that's really what I want to get at.
That boy spitting. Hey, JG, you already gave me my encouragement of the week. I'm gonna save it for that because that's fire for something you said. But stay tuned till y'all listen to it. Y'all gonna hear his spits. What you got for us, man? I know you got. Well, Rel, you got something first before Spence go?
Did, and that being able to lie down. JG probably thought I was talking about his son Isaiah. I'm talking about Abraham's son. Just being able to submit and just lay down, bruh.
Isaac.
And know that Isaac. I'm sorry. knowing that God gonna be able to take. I mean, my father's gonna take care of me regardless of what the plan is. I ain't scared of nothing. I just gotta have faith that he gonna come through and something's gonna be provided. And not only that, like Abraham was low key God best friend at the time. You know what I'm saying? Like that's his boy. Like he always looked out for Abraham and knowing what his inheritance was and knowing that like what JG said, like we just got to be able to lie down and like take whatever God gives us and takes away from us. But if we have that Isaac type faith at all times, everything's gonna be okay, and He's gonna deliver us an inheritance and an abundance. But we got to start realizing, and I heard this from a sermon, like how faithful Isaac was to his father, bro. And we just have to reciprocate that with God because we are his sons as well. We are his children. You know what I'm saying? If we could have the type of faith, he didn't know where he was going for real. He just thought he was going to do something else. And then now you about to kill me, Dad? And ain't utter a word. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew it was for his benefit no matter what. It was for the kingdom. Because of the way his father felt about God and the way God feels about his kingdom. And so I think if we just take into consideration what JG just said, it's like that is the work. It's having faith about I'm gonna follow your lead no matter what steps you're ordering. And I know we're gonna come down from this mountain regardless of what happens. You know what I'm saying? I just thought that was powerful. That's all I wanted to say.
Bro, and look,
Uh,
like, is it? Go ahead, Shaq. Go ahead, Shaq.
Nah, you good. I want to say that like is powerful for real. When you sit there and actually think of it in that way, and you take your eyes off yourself, and you actually focus on what God's trying to do, and your part in the kingdom, it starts to make more sense because you go from this I mentality. You know, we talked about this him mentality, this one mentality, this it's all me mentality, to no, it's a God mentality. It's a kingdom mentality. And I think what you said with the story of Isaac right there shows it. Like, nah, it's not about me. It's about the kingdom. So I appreciate you bringing that to the light for that, for real.
Cause bro, and what JG said, like I'm the trouble. If Isaac gets irritable and is like annoyed, the way the preacher broke it down is like he could have beat his dad up. You know what I'm saying? And it's really like God really telling his story through Abraham is like I'm older than all of y'all. Y'all think that y'all could take me, but you really can't. No matter what you do, I've been around since the beginning of the time. I know all of your ways. Why won't you submit to me? So JG saying we're the ones that's troubled, we're in the way is so accurate because we can say, I ain't walking with you up that mountain, Abraham. I ain't walking with you, God, because I got my own way. I got my own stash over here. I got my own life. I don't have to do this because I have what I have now because of what I did, right? And it's like, man, God looking at us like, man, if you only knew. I got ancestors and ancestors in your legacy if you just listen to me. And that's just a lot in itself. That's just the one blessing of many. So nah, bro, I just had to make that connection. That was on my mind and my heart, bro.
Bro, if the God of the universe who created everything we see around us is telling you to lay something down, let this go, turn away from this in your life, the God of the universe, you don't think that he knows what's best for you? Then you don't have that. You need to really seek out a relationship with him, and you need to get in the Word and just read over his works that he's done from the Old Testament to the New. Because if you knew of somebody that created, let's just say that you're buying a house, you know the builder, you told him every single detail that you wanted in the house, and he's going to build it a custom craftsman home for you the exact way that you want it with all the specs, all the specifications you want it. You're going to get in there after he builds it, and if he tells you, all right, this is how this works, you need to do it this way, this is how, and he tells you the functionality of the house, you just going to brush him off and do it the wrong way? You're going to mess up your house. You're going to mess up your house. If this is supposed to be your forever home that you haven't custom built, but then you're not going to listen to the builder walk you through the steps of how to enjoy your home, what are we talking about, man? You're going to ruin the home, and you're not going to be able to enjoy it in the way that it was intended for you to enjoy it. It's the same thing with this life. It's the same thing with this life. God is the creator and sustainer of all life. You don't think that he could tell you how to maximize your time here? You don't think he has your best interest at heart? He created you. If he didn't have your best interest at heart, he wouldn't have created you.
JG going crazy.
You would not be here.
Yo.
If you did not have a purpose, if you did not need, like, what are we talking about? How do you know more about how to live your life than the creator of life?
Man.
Who put you here on this earth? So come on, man. Like, what are we talking about, man? I'm sorry. I feel like I'm yelling. My bad, man. Oh.
You good? Hey, somebody.
You sound like you're. I don't know. You're a little loud over there, man. You're a little loud over there.
Turn your mic down.
Somebody just said, "Man, I need to stop shortcutting the shortcut right there." They heard that. They're gonna be convicted from that. Let me stop with the shortcuts. I appreciate you, JG.
That's the work. To your point, though, Shad. That's all the work, bro. Like, knowing that you are not the creator, like, that's work. You gotta really, like, understand, like, dang, I ain't do none of this.
All I did was be obedient.
None of it.
And if I want obedient, then you realize you ain't do none of it. Simple as that.
Man, and that's why I said, like, it was so much more to what you had to say about, let's not contradict that prayer just worked. And I'm like, bro, it's so much more in what you're saying, and so many different conversations that people kind of need to hear us talk about it different ways and how it relates to us. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I appreciate it. Spence, what you hearing over there, bro?
Man, y'all talking, and honestly, I want to push the conversation forward. I want to dig a little deeper because the Spirit placed this on my heart when I was prepping for this, and we had this conversation about not just praying but doing the work behind it. But is there a situation where you just pray and miracles happen? And to give some context, I was like, well, my mom and my dad, they pray for me every night, every day. I go to visit them. They pray I'll have traveling grace home. That's not me putting in the work. That's just my parents praying for me. Is that considered work? Or, for example, you get ready to go to bed, you get on your knees to pray, and you pray that you see tomorrow. There's no work there. You just praying to God that I'm going to see tomorrow, that he's going to work a miracle. So, and y'all can give me your thoughts on this, but sometimes I feel like you can pray and God works a miracle, because miracles don't have to be this grand gesture. Miracles can be you waking up in the morning. Miracles can be you getting in your car, being able to drive, going to the gym, doing the things that you do on a daily basis. Literally just getting out of bed and being able to walk. That's a miracle. And so, and y'all give me your thoughts on this, but I'm under the impression that sometimes when you pray to God, God just makes a way, because there are a lot of, and as I'm thinking, let me not go there before I hear what you guys say. So I'm gonna stop there and let y'all go.
You see, I'm glad it's not loud. I'm glad you asked me before we got started, because now I had time to think on it. So you still stumped me with the second one about waking up, because I do believe that, like, you wake up, it's a miracle. Like, you didn't have to wake up. That's an absolute miracle. There's nothing you've done. There's nothing you could have done. If God said it's your time, that was your time. But let's go back to the driving one, because I didn't have an answer for you earlier. I do now, though, because your parents can pray for you to have a safe trip. But if you decide to just wall out, have your phone in your face the whole time, and you hit a wall, that was your works. That was your works on unfertile soil that you decided to take in your choices and your actions that caused you not to have a safe trip. It's the obedience to the road of paying attention and stuff that caused you not to have a safe trip. It's not that your parents' prayer didn't work, right? Because if that was the case, then there'll be a lot of people who pray for something that someone else makes a poor choice in the works that they do, then they feel like prayer doesn't work anymore. And I feel like there are situations and instances where there are miracles, right? Like how you mentioned, like, you pray, you wake up in the morning, you wake up and God bless you. But if your parents pray for you to have a safe trip home and you decided to do things that risk that safe trip, that was you working to risk that safe stuff, right? And I think that still works. Like, that's still prayer and works. So I'm stumped here, right? You got me stumped here, but I do have an answer for that one. That boy rail raising his head like we in school, man.
Real quick. All right, so
the hand raise is crazy.
So you saying our parents pray for you traveling grace, and we decide to go out here and wild out, and something happens. But what about the time something still happens and we are obedient to the laws of the road? That's works, but something still happens. It's a miracle
Tag
that
him
we
in.
make it home without something
Hey,
happening.
Rel, help me
Even
out here.
though
Tag him
even
in. Tag him in.
Let's finish, bro.
even when we're obedient, sometimes things just happen, and it's a miracle that God just has His hands of protection around us. And that prayer of traveling grace, yeah, if we go out here and wild out, yeah, that's on us. But if we go out here and we're doing what we're supposed to do, and something still happens, that how do you explain that? But go ahead, Real. You had your hand raised. Go ahead, go.
Nah, I think y'all both making good points though, like different perspective, good points. I think to answer your question, the miracles without the work are God's test. He's testing you to see if he could give you more or not. So therefore, he's testing your trust in him or not. He's trying to get your attention if you didn't do the work. So he's trying to get you to turn your life around if you never prayed for it. Just like my experience on the deck. I ain't prayed for that moment. He just turned my life around, and that was a miracle to me. And now that waking up every day, I'm going to him first thing in the morning, regardless, because I don't want him to try to test me again with that about my life no more, because he really could take it from me, bro. And I think he tests us, and I think some people gonna get miracles because he's trying to get their attention, and he blesses some people with something big, and then they just veer away from him and never see him for a while. But then maybe another miracle comes in because he's trying to bless them in a big way, but he's trying to bless other people through them as a vessel. And I think we get that confused with we don't have to do work because, bro, at the end of the day, his miracles are continued tests to show him that, bro, I'm not worthy of what you're doing for me. I ain't even do nothing to deserve it. You're the creator of this earth. As JG did, he don't have to do it, bro. And I feel like it's his way of building trust with us to see how much he can give us and see if we're ready or not for that relationship with him. And he already knows when we're going to pretty much give over our life to him already. It's already written out. But I think he's give us all these signs for a long period of time. And you like, yeah, I did that. And he like, no, I've been doing it this whole time. But now you're in tune. And now that you're in tune, let me reveal more to you. And so now, JG always bring it up. When the veil is taken down, and now you have clear vision on the kingdom, then yeah, he gonna start reveal. You're gonna start seeing way more signs now. Now it's not just miracles. Now it's the way you walking with him. This is who God is. And so I think we frame miracles due to the condition and confinement of our minds of what we go through every day in life. And we try to indicate that these are miracles. And I'm like, no, they're just testing signs. Because when you start walking with him and he ordering your steps, you ain't looking at stuff like miracles. He's like, no, this is who God is, bro. This is what it is to walk with Christ. It don't matter. This is what he do. If I was with him the whole time, this would have been happening the whole time. But we don't. We don't take those steps.
Real quick, JG. So you said you consider them tests. So what are miracles to you then?
Miracles, bro, are not of this earth, bro. It's just signs from God showing that he is real. But we ignore them and call them a miracle. You get what I'm saying? It's a miracle that God did this for me. Man, do you know what Jesus was doing, Spence? Like when he was here, do you know what he was actually doing? Yeah, those are the miracles, but those is actually tests for the people that let me show you something in the physical, and you still don't want to believe it's me. Like what? Like, bro, it's in the word of what God was doing. What God was doing on earth. We still don't believe it. It's a test. It was heaven on earth, and we just ignore him like he was never here. Like, come on, what we talking about, bro?
He was performing signs and miracles on the regular, and they were asking him for signs.
And they weren't even praying for it. They start asking once they saw the first one. Show another one. Show me another one. Show me another one.
Do something else.
Do something else. Come
Crazy.
on, bro. It's a test.
That boy Rel popping off, boy. I love it, man. I love it, boy.
Bro, that was a good question, bro. I just feel like he's testing us of, do you want this relationship or not? I'm trying to show you. And we're doing the same thing they was doing back in the New Testament. Show another miracle, bro. Then I'll give my life over. God, get me out this. I'll never do it again. He gets you out. You doing it again. You ain't praying for it while it's not happening. It's all the same to me.
Go ahead, JG. Let me hear what you got.
I mean, I try not to get emotional. I'm just thinking that those miracles, some of those miracles are for us, and some of those miracles are for others to wake up, to wake them up. Like the miracles for people who I think have been walking with God a little bit, and really, I'm really not talking about myself, because I'm just saying in general, like people who've been walking with God, it's like confirmation. And I think for others who may be on the fence or maybe don't believe for whatever reason, I think it's to kind of wake them up, to kind of be like, hey, like this was an act of God. Like you're in a situation where that's the only explanation. There was nothing. Then this is what I think you were talking about or trying to get at, Spence, is like no work went into this miracle happening. There's no work went into this prayer being answered other than you falling on your knees and humbling yourself in prayer, asking God for a miracle. And it just so happens that there have been two such cases this year alone. One of it was a family member who was going through some medical stuff, and they said it might be cancer. And so the family was kind of alerted through the group chat, and it was kind of like, I don't know, it's shocking. You know, no one ever wants to hear that as a possible diagnosis, obviously. And when I prayed, they said it wasn't, like it came back later that it wasn't. And I was so thankful, man. I was just so thankful.
Take your time, JG. Take your time.
And it just was like so powerful. Like it was just like a lot in that moment. I mean, it's a lot right now thinking back on it. Like, that just like was answered prayer. I mean, that was a miracle. It was a miracle, man. Because like, what else could it have been? If I told y'all the details, it would be even crazier. It would be even crazier. Like you would laugh. You would laugh. Because it's like, we're talking about doctors, like people who dedicate their life to that field, who study. Like when they say something, normally it's true. There ain't really too many misdiagnoses, right? Like this is what they do. And they see this all the time. So like to think that was a possibility and that was on the table, and then to have like, members of the family pray, some who might not even pray on a regular basis, like, but humble themselves in that moment for a family member to pray for a miracle, and to have it happen was like, man, like, I hope that blessed them in the same way it blessed me, or even more so, And then I had a friend who had an in-law that had a stroke. He's probably going to listen to this episode. His in-law had a stroke, and he was like reaching out for prayer, like, anything that if y'all could just pray for him, that would be great. And there's some other stuff going on within the family of some people who are on the fence with their beliefs, some people who are new to the faith that are encountering stumbling blocks or obstacles to growing in their faith. And I just remember him saying it doesn't look good. He was like not responsive, and he had like lost functioning on like half of his body or half of his face. I can't remember which one it was. And I firmly believe that everybody he reached out, a lot of people that he reached out to, prayed, and I prayed, and he was like, guys, this is nothing short of a miracle. But he was responsive today to a family member's touch, like on his hand. And then before long, he was like speaking again. And to go from like, this doesn't look good, we don't know how much longer he has, to like, this is a miracle. I mean, days. So it's a lot, man. Like, I just think about like the details of the situation and how that affects everyone, his family members, people who were knowledgeable of the situation, myself, and just kind of like what that did for me, and then just thinking about what that did for the family. And hopefully their faith is just a lot, man. Like, so those miracles, They serve different purposes, I think, for different people. But when you see God move in that way, where wasn't no work, the work was getting on your knees, praying, and just believing God for a miracle, and just praying His word and talking about the miracles that He performed in His word, and asking Him to do it in your life, in the life of someone you love, in the life of someone you care about, and then seeing it happen. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's just, I just hope that people acknowledged where that came from. From preparing to say goodbye or preparing for whatever comes with a cancer diagnosis, to no, it's not cancer, to he's responding to his family now, he's talking. Like, I just really hope that woke some people up, and that they're like able to just grow in their faith because of that.
Hey, JG, man, we appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing that about what God has done in your life, but also your family members' lives. And if you listening, like, again, there's no way you can listen to this and JG's testimony about what his family went through, and then how God showed up and performed a miracle after they prayed, and not want to put in the work to have this relationship with God. Again, this is another test for you right there. What other answers do you need for the test that's in your life? It's right there. You just heard it from something that you can see and something that you can hear. You could have it in physical form, but you choosing to ignore it for whatever the reasons are. But you're in the way of the blessing and the miracles that God could perform in your life, and you just got to turn to Him. So, JG, again, I appreciate you sharing that. I hope that's heard and I hope that's felt. I don't even think it's anything we need to say anything else tonight. Honestly, man, I just appreciate you sharing that, because that hit on all cylinders, more than ways that you know, and God got all the glory for it, bro. So again, appreciate that, man. Spence, you had to say something?
No, I was going to say I appreciate JG for sharing that. That was a powerful testimony, and I hope it resonates with our listeners, because it definitely resonates with me.
Sure. Got anything, Shad?
No, man, not JG. I appreciate you. It's truly a blessing, truly a miracle, man. And I'm glad to be able to, you to open up and share that, because I know that's going to help a lot of people. I know it's going to help me. So thank you so much. So with that, man, Spence, we'll go ahead and pass it over to you for your notebook, man. What you got today?
Yes, sir. Real quick before we get into my notebook, follow us, Wholesome Thinking Pod, on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe, follow us, DM us, comment questions, topics you would like to hear us talk about, or questions you would like for us to answer. We'll make sure to respond and get back to you. Spencer's notebook, a couple things. Don't shortcut the shortcut. The shortcut is God's God's blessing, and don't shortcut that shortcut to try to find an easier route. We be in our own way of receiving God's blessings. It's not, we tend to blame others when it really be ourselves. We need to look more so inward when things aren't going our way, because usually we're the ones that are in a way of receiving God's blessings. And don't just pray to receive, just pray and look for a handout. You have to put in the work. You have to follow God's order. Let God order your steps. Follow Him so you can put in the work to receive His blessings. So that's the three main points I got for this one.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. All right, Shad, what you got for the people, man?
Yeah, so before we get to the encouragement of the week, I want to let you all know that in all of our episodes, so thank you one for listening. In our episodes, we do have the descriptions down there with the timestamps and the resources that we shared today. So if that was something that really impacted you, that you want to learn from and grow from our conversation, please do. Please find it in the timestamps and just study it. Study it, absorb it, put it into your mind, put it into your subconscious, and then start walking and living in it, right? Because God's blessing is there for you. It's for all of us. You just have to be obedient. You have to pray. You have to have the works. So definitely make sure you check out our timestamps that we have for you, our description of the episode, as well as any resources that we have.
Appreciate y'all, brothers, man. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the encouragement for the week. Who wants to start us off?
I can start us off.
All right, go ahead, Shad.
So going back earlier to what JG was saying, and I don't want this to construe that God will have miracles and blessings in your life. But JG mentioned something earlier that sometimes people pray and they just expect it to happen, right? It's like a microwave prayer. And you got to remember that God's timing is the perfect timing. And God's going to perform miracles in your life, and He's going to give you instant blessings from your prayers. And there's times where you're going to have to wait for Him, have patience. So have patience when you're praying, and don't have microwave prayers. Like, don't just expect because you pray it's going to happen immediately. Be thankful, get on your knees, praise God when it does happen instantly and immediately. But don't just stop praying and start doing things your own way because you think God's not moving in the proper time for you. So get rid of the mindset that if you think you pray and then that if it's not answered right away, then you're done praying, because that's never the answer. It's never the answer to go out and do things your own way. It's never an answer to shortcut the shortcut. So just kind of get rid of that microwave prayers and realize and just, expect, be in awe, be mind blown when the blessing happens and be thankful for it. But understand that God's timing is always perfect timing.
Appreciate you, Shy. Appreciate you, bro. Man. All right, Spence, JG. Go ahead, Spence.
For me, I would say don't take God for granted. He's an all-powerful God, and He's always making a way for us in our lives, but don't take Him for granted, because things can end at the snap of a finger. And give thanks when things are going good and when things are going bad. Give thanks for the things that God is doing in your life. Don't take Him for granted like He should be doing this. Like He should be doing this. It's His will. It's not your will. It's His will. So if it's not in His will that you see tomorrow, then that's it. But don't take God for granted. Thank God while you're here, while you still have the time and have the breath to give Him thanks and show reverence to Him.
Appreciate you, Spence. Go ahead, JG.
My encouragement for the week is based off of 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people who are called by my name humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and heal their land. The problem ain't God. The problem ain't God. Like, we have to be willing to put the work in. Okay, it says right there, humble themselves. You have to humble yourself. Pray and seek God's face and turn from your wicked ways. Okay, and then He will hear from heaven and forgive our sin and heal our land. So it says right there again, like, God is holy. Nothing unholy can be around Him. Nothing unholy can have, like, be in His presence. So, and it says that our ways are wicked, and there's no, like, degrees to it. It's like, this is just kind of what we were born into because of Adam and Eve eating that fruit. Like, we need a savior. We're not going to get it right on our own. And so we really do need to kind of turn from our old ways and seek Him out. And seeking is like, I just want to reference one more. Luke chapter 11, verses 9 and 10. And I tell you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. And the one who seeks finds. And to the one who knocks it will be open. He's waiting for us. He's waiting for you. He's waiting for all of us to seek Him with our whole heart. And He's ready to open the door. Seek and you will find. Everyone who asks receives, and the one who seeks finds. If you seek Him with your whole heart, you're going to find Him. If you knock on that door, He's waiting to open that door. But we got to humble ourselves and admit that we don't got it all right. Okay, and then we have to be open to Him coming into our hearts, into our lives, and changing us and transforming us. Because we need that. We need somebody. That's not something we can do on our own and deliver our own salvation unto ourselves. Like, we just can't. That's just not within our capacity. So I just want to encourage you to, like, humbly seek Him, because He's waiting for you. He's waiting for you to find Him. He's waiting to open the door when you knock. So just seek Him with your whole heart. Humble yourselves before Him. Turn from your ways, your sinful ways. Repent from your sin, and He's waiting to heal you.
Man, appreciate it, JG. Thanks for sharing, man. Appreciate all y'all for the encouragement for the week. I don't even have nothing to say. Whoever's listening, it's just time for you to build that relationship with God. It's all these testimonies tonight and today as you listen to this. I hope this helps you on your journey. And God is waiting to perform more miracles in your life, but He just wants a relationship with you first. So we appreciate everybody for listening to part 2, and we hope everyone has a great rest of their week.